Hey, everybody, welcome to the Not Move podcast. This is Better Betters. Hope everybody's having a great day. Today is July 21st at 4 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. Let me look at some of these lineup confirmations real quick. Some of them are just coming out. Right. And the first thing that I usually do whenever I start these shows is go over the weather. So let's do that real quick. I didn't see anything that was too concerning, but there is a possibility for I think one game to get delayed or postponed. Let's go take a look here. San Francisco Giants at Atlanta. Rotogrinders.com is saying that it's warm and humid. Winds blowing out to the left at 10 miles per hour. There's a chance for a pop up shower or storm to cause a delay, but not a very good chance. And then we have the White Sox and the Rays. Storms probably stay far enough to not matter in this game. Let's see here what else they're saying. They have a long write up. Uh, a low chance of a delay to sum that game up. The Royals at Cubs. Winds blowing in from center field 10 miles per hour. We've talked about how winds, as little as 5 miles per hour can significantly alter a fly ball's path. So, once again, wind blowing in from center at 10 miles per hour, typically that will benefit, pitchers. And then looks like the Cardinals and Rockies game, rain is going to be cleared away in the area by game time. So let's go through the wind real quick in some of these games. Looks like Detroit and Pittsburgh. Wind is blowing from third base towards that right foul pole at about 5 to 6 miles per hour. Padres Marlins. From my understanding, the Marlins have a retractable roof. The wind is blowing in about 5 to 7 miles per hour. Orioles and Guardians blowing in towards the towards that third baseline from right field to the third baseline, 6 to 8 miles per hour. Red Sox Phillies blowing in 6 to 7 miles per hour. Angels and Mets winds are blowing in at about 8 to 9 miles per hour. Giants and Braves blowing out 6 to 9 miles per hour towards left center field. White Sox Rays. I think Rays may have a retractable roof as well. You may want to check that. But I'm seeing that the winds are blowing about 5.5 to 8 miles per hour towards that right field pole. Athletics and Rangers. This looks like the biggest wind here. Uh, 10.5 to 12.5 miles per hour towards left field, I would say. Left field. And then just a second. Texas Rangers. Uh, okay, yeah, it looks like Texas Rangers has a retractable roof as well. We already talked about the Royals Cubs. Rockies Cardinals. Looks like that's blowing out towards center right field at about 7 to 9 miles per hour. And then both of these wind speeds look about the same. Astros and Diamondbacks, as well as the Twins and Dodgers, both of those games, wind blowing out towards right field at about 7 miles per hour. All right. I always like to go over weather. It gives people time to join the stream, and it's valuable information, right? So, yeah, let's get into it. Got a lot of good information for you guys today. All right. So the first game we got Sugano versus Bybee, Baltimore and Cleveland. Baltimore at Cleveland. So Baltimore's 2-1 against Cleveland this season. Baltimore won both of those games by 4+ runs. Cleveland, the game that they won by exactly 3. This field ranks 25th for right-handed hitting home runs on that website that I always like to use. Uh, I'll just type into my search engine here, MLB Park Factors or Park Factors MLB, and the first thing that comes up is Baseball Savant. So that's the tool that I'm looking at whenever I talking about uh, if the ballpark is good for a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter to hit a home run in. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that for instance, the Rockies Coors Field is great for hitting home runs, but they have their own equation here on this website, and for right-handed hitting home runs for this season, they have the Rockies field ranked at 20th for some reason. Maybe that's because the Rockies don't have the greatest team this season, so and they're not hitting a whole lot of home runs, right-handed Rockies players. So that may have something to do with it. It gives you an explanation if you kind of want to read along with me at the top of the page there. Once again, Baseball Savant, Baseball SAVANT, Statcast Park Factors is what I'm looking at. Anyways, so Baltimore and Cleveland, this ranks as one of the worst, according to this source, one of the worst ballparks for right-handed hitting home runs. Now, the you guys know that I like to look at run line trends. The Cleveland Guardians have the 5th best run line record after a win. Baltimore, after a win, ranks 25th record. Their record ranks 25th on the run line after they win. And then, as when Baltimore is a road underdog, they rank 25th as well on that run line. So Sagano is the pitcher for Baltimore today. He's projected to be at least. He's the right-handed pitcher. So Baltimore is 5-4 on the road with Sagano this season, and they won all of those games by 2+ runs. I do want to mention uh, Bybee real quick for Cleveland. So Cleveland is 4-3 at home with Bybee pitching this season. Now the 3 games that they did lose, they lost all of those games by 4+ runs. So if you're thinking about going Baltimore, 2+ today to win by 2+ on like an alt line or something, you got that going for you. Now, let's get back to Sagano real quick. So once again, Baltimore is 5-4 on the road with Sagano. They won all of those games by 2+ runs. 3 out of the 4 games that they lost by 2+ runs. Sagano pitched versus Cleveland, so this game was in Baltimore on 4/17, and Baltimore won that game 6-2. Sagano allowed 5 hits, 7 innings pitched, 2 home runs, 2 earned runs, didn't walk anybody, and struck 3 people out. His average pitch count is 88 this season and 87 in his last 5 games. His walks per 9 inning average isn't alarming, but I think, his home runs per 9 innings is a little high. It's at 1.7. He is allowing more home runs to left-handed hitters. Okay. So if you're thinking about taking a Cleveland Guardian today, a left-handed Cleveland Guardian to hit a home run today, you got that working for you. He's giving up more home runs to left-handed hitters. So a couple guys for Cleveland that I have on my radar are Stephen Kwan. Looks like he's back in the lineup today, and Jose Ramirez. So Stephen Kwan is batting 302 off right-handed pitching this season, and then Jose Ramirez is batting 273 off right-handed pitching. So we can go look to see how these batters do against a specific pitch. If you guys want to, I mean, personally, I like to look up pitch arsenals and stuff like that in a park that I feel like somebody has a better chance to hit a home run in. Also, just some other factors. Um, so I do think it's possible that a Cleveland Guardian does hit a home run today, but I would, I like to kind of find a better park for before we start looking at pitch arsenals and how a player bats off of a specific pitch. But if you'd like, a home run hitter in this game, you know, once again, Quan Ramirez, I'm looking at here maybe. Anyways, so Bybee, right-handed pitcher. Once we, like we said, Cleveland's 4-3 at home with him. They won 2 out of 4 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost all those games that they did lose by 4+ runs. Bybee pitched at Baltimore on 4/17 against Sagano, and Baltimore once again won that game 6-2. 5.2 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. So Bybee had some difficulties against Baltimore in that game, but that was back in that was on April 17th. So quite a while ago. Now Bybee's pitch count is his average has been 96, 95 in his last 5 games. I always like to look at that just in case maybe some bullpens have to come in and that's definitely important. If your bullpen ranks the worst in baseball and your starting pitcher is pitching an average of 40 pitches, well, that 30 ranked bullpen is going to get a lot of work. But that's the reason why I like to look for it. I'm not saying Baltimore's bullpen is ranked 30th, but they're close. They rank 25th, so they're near the bottom of the league, that bullpen. Anyways, uh, the home runs per 9 innings is at 1.4. Now he's worse against left-handed hitters this season. Bybee is, and I'm talking about batting average and home runs. So if you like somebody for Baltimore today, a left-handed, once again, left-handed hitters have hit more home runs off of Bybee. He throws a 27% four seam. I'm not going to look into how Gunnar Henderson and some of O'Hearn and some of these other lefties hit off that four seam. But if you want to look at that, once again, uh, Baseball Savant is what I'm looking at, so you can filter this by the year, and also the type of the pitch type, slugging percentage, all types of cool stuff. Anyways, when we're talking about runs per game on the road, Baltimore ranks 27th. Cleveland ranks 19th in runs per game allowed at home. And then Cleveland hasn't been scoring a whole lot at home. They ranked second worst in runs per game at home this season. Baltimore's defense has been allowing some runs per game on the road this season. Now, base stealing, I didn't find that either of these two pitchers were like really bad at base stealing prevention or really good. They may be really good, but I was kind of more focused on who's bad at base stealing prevention when I was doing my research last night. Um, once these guys don't have an alarming walks per 9 inning average, so although base stealing could be important in any game, I think it could be a little bit maybe less important in this game. Um, Now, both of these teams are a little bit above average when they are stealing bases. Baltimore ranks 15th, which is about average, and then Cleveland ranks 10th. Both of these teams rank 19th in stolen bases allowed per game, so slightly below average. Cleveland has a pretty big bullpen advantage here. They rank 10th in bullpen ERA. Baltimore ranks 25th. Cleveland strikes out less per times per game. They rank 15th. Baltimore ranks 26th. So, with all that being said, I think I like now Baltimore is a road dog, right? So I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Baltimore plus 1.5 here. I kind of like how their bats match up batting average wise. When I'm talking about batting average, I like how their bats match up against Bivey a little bit more today than how Cleveland's matches up against Sagano. We already mentioned that Sagano and the Baltimore Orioles had success in Baltimore when he pitched against Bivey earlier this season, and Bivey had difficulties. So I think just with those reasons right there, I'm gonna have to lean towards Baltimore in this game. All right, moving on, we have Detroit and Pittsburgh. Detroit and Pittsburgh. Trying to pull up some odds here real quick. All right, because sometimes I'll look at these run line trends, and perhaps this morning one team was favored, and then something caused that to change, and now they're the underdog. So, all right. So Detroit's the road dog here. Now Detroit is 2-1 against Pittsburgh this season. They won both of those games by 4+ runs. Pittsburgh Pittsburgh won their lone win by exactly 4. So I've heard that the Pirates may be managing Skeens' workload not only today, but let me just check what RotoWire.com was saying about it. So this brief analysis was written on about it was written about 4 days ago. And it says the Pirates are not expected to skip any of Skeens' starts in the second half, but will likely have him throw a few more lower volume outings as a means of managing his workload. So there's a possibility. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Skeens starting in this game and be naturally gravitated towards taking him. But yeah, I'm seeing that they may be managing his workload. So, anyways, let's look at some of this other information. Uh, on that Park Factors website that I like to look at, this is not a good home run necessarily for right-handed hitters. The biggest run line advantage I see here today is that Detroit is they rank 11th best in baseball on the run line after a win. And the Tigers, let's see. With that being said, the Tigers on the run line as a road underdog ranks 27th in baseball as well. But the Pirates rank 25th on the run line as a home favorite this season. So they haven't been they're 6-17 on that run line this season when they are a road favorite. So Flaherty, he hasn't pitched against Pittsburgh this season. The right-handed pitching Flaherty. Detroit does have a 2-6 road record with Flaherty pitching this season. And they won one of those games by exactly 12. The other game they won by exactly 1. If you're thinking about taking Pittsburgh today, here's something that I like. Flaherty on all the road games, the 6 road games that the Tigers have lost with Flaherty this season, they lost all of those games by 3+ runs. Now, Flaherty's average pitch count this season has been 92, 89 in his last 5 games. His walks per 9 inning rate is right at that threshold where it makes me, open my eyes a little bit more. It's at 3.6. So he could, allow some walks here today, and maybe some home runs if you like a home run hitter. He's got a 1.7 home run per 9 inning average, which is getting high there. Um, let's see here. He allows He's about even. So left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters aren't necessarily hitting exceptionally well from either side of the plate against him. I'm talking about batting average and home runs, but he does allow more walks to left-handed hitters. Now Pittsburgh, I don't think that they are a great. I don't think they're a great team at drawing walks per game. So we can kind of look at that MLB team walks per game. Pittsburgh ranks 20th, so they're below average at drawing walks. And then, uh, which pitchers allow the most stolen bases? I was looking at this at one of my previous shows, and I was looking at it a little bit more. I think it's a pretty good source here. Now it looks like Jack Flaherty does a pretty good job at limiting base stealing. So Pittsburgh does rank ninth in base stealing, but not only is Flaherty according to this chart that I'm looking at, pretty good at preventing base stealing. But Detroit as a team is good at preventing base stealing as well. They rank fifth best in that department. Now, Detroit doesn't like to steal a whole lot of bases. They rank 30th in that department, so I don't really expect them to. Um, so, looking at Skeens here, Pittsburgh's 4-4 at home with Skeens this season, but a lot of these games have been close. Only one of those four victories that they've had at home with Skeens this season, they won by exactly 7 runs. The other games were all 1-run victories. The games that Skeens did lose, the games that Pittsburgh did lose with Skeens at home this year, Pittsburgh lost all of those games by 2+ runs. So maybe you're thinking about taking Detroit on the alt line here. Uh, yeah, Skeens lost all four of those games. The Pirates lost all four of those games by 2+ runs. Now, Skeens pitched at Detroit. This one's in Pittsburgh today, right? But Skeens pitched at Detroit on June 19th, and Pittsburgh won 8-4 in extra innings. He had 6 innings pitched, only allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no home runs, 5 walks. But Detroit wasn't able to really capitalize on those walks, and 9 strikeouts. Skeens' average pitch count, we talked about how the Pirates may be managing his workload this season. Skeens' average pitch count is 91, but in his last 5 games, it's 67. He does have a worse, he's allowing a higher batting average to left handed hitters this season and slightly more home runs to right handed hitters. Um, he's allowing more walks to left handed hitters, and he's throwing a 39% four seam fastball. That's his most used pitch this season. Now, once again, I'm not going to look into the uh, uh, pitch arsenals and what the opposing players like to hit too much in this game because this isn't necessarily a great home run hitting park, but just according to that source that I was using earlier in the show. But let me just double check that some of these guys are starting here for Detroit. All right. So Detroit's they rank seventh best in runs per game on the road. Pittsburgh ranks 12th in runs per game allowed at home. Is that right? See, sometimes I look at a lot of data. Sometimes I have to double check myself during these shows. Uh, runs per game allowed in baseball. I mean, that sounds right. I think I'm just thinking of how Pittsburgh runs per game for Pittsburgh when they're at home. Runs per game allowed. Pittsburgh. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Anyways, so Pittsburgh, they rank 25th in runs per game at home. They haven't been doing a good job at scoring runs at home this season, and the Tigers have been doing a good job at preventing runs when they play games on the road. They rank ninth best. We already talked about base stealing. The bullpens are near the bullpen ERAs are near the same. Pittsburgh slight advantage there. They rank 17th. Detroit ranks 20th. Uh, Strikeouts per game, both of these teams are below average. Pittsburgh ranks 23rd. Detroit ranks 24th. So, with Detroit being a road dog, if you like them at plus 1.5, I could see that. I like how their bats match up a little bit more today against Skeens more than Pittsburgh's bats match up against Flaherty. Um, I think Skeens possibly having his workload managed is also um, a good sign for Detroit here in this game. Detroit is 2-1 against Pittsburgh this season, and Detroit won both of those games by 4+ runs. Uh, I see more guys with a higher batting average against right-handed pitching for the Tigers than I do that for Pittsburgh. So I'd have to lean towards the Tigers in this one, but we're gonna move on to the next game here. We got the Padres and the Marlins. Padres, they're 2-1 against Miami this season. San Diego won one of those games by exactly two, and another game by exactly one. Miami won by exactly two in the game that they won. So uh, all three games have been decided by 2 runs or less between these two teams. The biggest run line trend, a record advantage that I see is that Miami ranks sixth best on the run line after a loss. They're 31-20 on that run line after a loss. But on the flip side, when the Marlins are a home favorite, and are they still a home favorite? Marlins, yeah. So as a home favorite, the Marlins are um, ranked. They rank 28th on that run line record. All right, so the Padres looks like they have. Let me close some of these tabs here that I have up on my computer. Sometimes I can get carried away with talking, and I don't keep organized. So that can definitely be a problem if I do that. Okay. Okay, we can close that. All right, guys. So, looks like Randy Vasquez is projected to pitch here for the Padres versus Perez. Now, San Diego is 5-4 with Vasquez on the road. He pitched versus Miami, so in San Diego on 5/26. San Diego won that game 4-3 in extra innings. He pitched 6.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run allowed, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. His average pitch count is 82, and it's been 86 in his last 5 games. He's his walks per 9 inning average is pretty high. It's at 4.4. So that immediately makes me want to go look at Miami and how they steal bases, and they rank 11th best at stealing bases per game this season. The Padres rank 16th in stolen bases allowed per game. So I think there could be um, some bases stolen today for the Marlins. And then there's a pretty big difference. So he's this Vasquez guy for the Padres is much worse, and I'm talking about batting average here against left-handed hitters. So if you like a left-handed Marlin today to get a hit, I could see that. Now for home runs, it's about even. And I do want to mention that the website that I was looking at has this Miami Marlins ballpark ranked at 27th, so near the bottom of the league for right-handed hitting home runs. So if I were to, in Vasquez doesn't have an alarming home runs per nine inning rate. It's at 1.1. San Diego also has a good bullpen. So if you're thinking about taking a Marlin in this game for a home run, I think you got a couple things working against you statistically, but anything can happen, right? Um, now, Perez on the flip side for Miami, he hasn't pitched against the Padres this season. His average pitch count is 83, 87 in his last 5 games. Walks per nine inning and home runs per nine inning average is not alarming. He is worst against right-handed hitters, batting average and home runs. So if you like, a Padre today for a hit or a home run, he is worse against right-handed hitters in both of those categories. He walks more left-handed hitters. Now, I didn't have time to look at Yuri Perez game log. Now, we mentioned that Vasquez was San Diego was 5-4 when Vasquez was pitching on the road this season. With Perez at home, the Marlins are 1-1. So they won one of those games by 3 runs, lost one of those games by 7 runs. Okay, and then runs per game on the road, San Diego's below average. They rank 24th. Runs per game at home, Miami is below average. They rank 27th. I would give just based on the Padres do a better job at limiting runs per game on the road. They rank 15th. Then the Marlins do at allowing runs per game at home. They rank 21st. Stolen bases. Now Miami does have a big problem with allowing stolen bases. They rank, last in baseball when it comes to stolen bases allowed. Now let me see if I can find Perez on this. It doesn't look like he's the greatest at preventing base stealing. There's some other guys on the Marlins that are worse than Perez, but he still looks like he's not that great at preventing base stealing. Now his walks per nine inning rate once again is not like too alarming here, but if there are some guys that from San Diego can get on base, I could see them swiping some bags here. I would say San Diego's bullpen is much better than the Marlins here. They rank second. The Marlins rank 19th. San Diego's a tough team to strike out. They rank third in team strikeouts per game. Miami ranks 10th in team strikeouts per game. Now, with all that being said, who do I like in this game? So I mean, aren't the Marlins pretty hot right now? This isn't like a game that I would necessarily be looking to zone in on. It's not something I love on either side. So, I see some good things for both of these teams, and it's tough for me to make a call here. San Diego, they're on a one-game winning streak, 6-4 in their last 10. The Marlins, 6-4 in their last 10, one-game losing streak. Um, there's some guys for the Marlins that have a little bit higher of batting averages than the Padres do against right-handed pitching. Both of these guys are right-handed pitchers. I think, something that really separates the Padres here is their bullpen and the fact that the Marlins are just really bad at base stealing prevention. Now, San Diego, once again, they're about an average team at base stealing when we're talking about stolen bases per game, but I do see that as an advantage here. I don't see a whole lot of advantages for the Marlins, so I'd have to lean towards the Padres in this game. Getting the win. Now, these games have been close between these two, as I mentioned right before we started talking about this game. The games have been close, so run line does concern me a little bit here with San Diego, but I'd have to lean towards San Diego getting that run line here again today. All right. Moving on. So I got to pull up run line trends real quick. Run line trends. And, excuse me, let me make sure that. Hey guys, one moment, please. I'll be right back. All right, all right. So let's see here. Thank you for your patience. Cincinnati at Washington. Washington is 2-1 against Cincinnati this season. Won both of those games. Washington won both of those games by 3+ runs. Cincinnati won their lone victory by exactly 5. Now, last I saw, Cincinnati is a road favorite. Yep, and it still looks that way. So I just have to look that up real quick. As an away favorite on the run line, Cincinnati ranks 1, 2, 3, 30, 29, 28, 27, 25, 22nd. Ranks 22nd. And then as a home underdog, Washington ranks on the run line. No, not good either. 30, 29, 28, 27, 25, 24, 23rd. They rank 23rd. I don't really see any like big outliers when it comes to run line trends in this game. So let's just move on here. Singer, right-handed pitcher, is projected to pitch for Cincinnati here. He hasn't pitched against Washington this season. Cincinnati's 5-4 on the road with Singer this season, and they won all of those games by 3+ runs. So if you like Cincinnati today, you got that going for you. Every game that Cincinnati won on the road with Singer this year, which were 5 games that they won all of those games by 3+ runs. Now, on the flip side, if you like Washington today, the Reds lost every game that they did lose. To the 4 games that they did lose on the road with Singer pitching by 2+ runs. So every time Singer's been on the road this season, the game has been decided by 2 or more runs. Singer's average pitch count's been 90, not just this season, but in his last 5 games. Walks per 9 innings, 3.6 walks per 9 innings for Singer, which makes me want to look at base stealers, or how good Washington is at base stealing. They rank 7th best in base stealing. Cincinnati's a little below average in that department. And then when we look up Singer and how he does against base stealing prevention, it looks like he's about average. So I do think that Washington can get on base, steal some bags today against Singer. Now Irvin, right-handed pitcher for Washington, hasn't pitched against Cincinnati this season. Washington has a 4-5 record at home with Irvin. They won all of those games. Oh no, excuse me. They won 2 of those games by 3+ runs. 4 out of 5 of the games they did lose was by 2+ runs. His average pitch count's been 93, 98 in his last 5. Home runs per 9 inning is getting up there. It's at 1.7 for Irvin. And he's worse against left-handed hitters, batting average and home runs. So if you're looking for a left-handed hitter for the Cincinnati Reds to get a hit and or a home run, Irvin is worse against left-handed hittings in both of those departments, and he also walks more left-handed hitters. So Irvin just simply has a tougher time against left-handed hitters. Uh, this ballpark wasn't in one of the most favorable home run locations, so I'm not going to go into the pitch arsenals and how these guys bat up against that. But Ellie is batting a 304 off right-handed pitching this season. Friedel 278, Lux 277. So runs per game allowed at home. Washington allows the third most runs per game allowed at home this season. Cincinnati ranks ninth in runs per game on the road this season. Washington's not scoring very many runs per game at home. Cincinnati is above average at runs per game allowed on the road this season. Stolen bases per game. I would give Washington an advantage there, but Cincinnati has a significant bullpen advantage. They rank 14th best in bullpen ERA. Washington ranks last in baseball in that department. Now, Washington is a tougher team to strike out. They rank fourth in that department, and Cincinnati ranks 22nd. With all that being said, I see just more reasons here today for me to like Cincinnati. Uh, But once again, it's baseball. Anything can happen. We saw that. We saw the Rockies win a couple of games. My Colorado Rockies win a couple of games against the Twins here uh, recently. So, statistically speaking, though, I'm thinking Cincinnati on that run line here. They they have a better record with Singer on the road than Washington does with Irvin at home. I like the way that the Cincinnati hitters match up against the right-handed pitching more than I like Washington and how they match up against right-handed pitching. Cincinnati, I like their runs per game on the road compared to Washington's offense, and I like Cincinnati's bullpen. Now I do see, Washington. If they get on base, man, they can swipe some bags and keep this game close or run with it, and they're a tough team to strike out. But all in all, yeah, I like since I'd have to lean towards Cincinnati in this one, and I kind of like them today. I feel more comfortable about. I kind of like Detroit too. Anyways, let's move on. Baltimore matches up well too against Cleveland. We've talked about some of these games already. All right, moving on. Boston at Philadelphia. These teams haven't played each other this season. Now, here's where we're going to dive into some pitch arsenals and home run hitting. All right. So this ballpark ranks fourth best on that website that I like to look at. You may have a different source that you look at, but the one I'm looking at says, it's fourth best for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. So we're going to see if we can find something here. What was it on? I think it was on Saturday where we found just so many reasons why we liked Jose Ramirez, and he ended up hitting a home run that day. So that always feels good whenever, I don't necessarily focus on home run props. I can research anything, but I felt like we did a good job at dissecting that Jose Ramirez home run, and it's nice to see one go through the hoop. Okay, so Bueller, right-handed pitcher versus Wheeler. Bueller hasn't. Let's talk about these run line trends real quick. The biggest run line record trend advantage that I see is that the Phillies are they rank seventh on the run line after a loss, and not second. I hope I said seventh. That's what I meant. Seventh on the run line after a loss, and seventh on the run line as a home favorite. Boston ranks 19th on the run line after a win and 19th on the run line as a road underdog. Now, Bueller hasn't pitched against Philadelphia this season. Boston's pitcher Bueller. Boston has a 3-5 record on the road with Bueller this season. His average pitch count is 87. It's 90 in his last 5 games. His walks per 9 inning rate is high. It's at 4.0 walks per 9 inning. His home runs per 9 inning is high. It's at 2.0. Now he has a much worse. He allows his batting average allowed to left-handed hitters is much worse today, or much worse against left-handed hitters. But he allows more home runs to right-handed hitters. Pitch arsenal, we'll look in that. He's not good at base stealing prevention, and Philadelphia is good at drawing walks. Philadelphia is good at stealing bases per game. Boston is not a good base. I mean, I could see Philadelphia swiping some bags today. One, because Bueller has that 4.0 walks per 9 inning average. Two, Bueller is bad at base stealing prevention. Three, Boston is as a team, they are near the bottom of the league at stolen bases allowed per game. And four, Philadelphia ranks fourth in team walks drawn per game. So I think that's all lines up pretty good with Philadelphia. Now let's go look at Wheeler real quick. There's a trend that I really like with Wheeler here. Philadelphia's 9-1. They have a 9-1 record with Wheeler at home. Just a a win loss record, right? Not a run line record, but and it might be, but seven of those games they won by 2+ runs. So that looks like a good spot, man, for the Phillies to win this game by 2+ runs. Once again, Philadelphia's 9-1 with Wheeler at home. 7 of those games they won by 2+ runs. He hasn't pitched against Boston this season. His average pitch count has been high, so that's something that worries me. Right, with the Phillies is their 23rd ranked bullpen ERA. But Wheeler, he's been going deep into these games, pitching deep into the games, or at least getting his pitch count up there. It's at 100. That's his average for the season, which is really high, and 104 in his last 5. He's done a good job at limiting the batters that he walks and limiting home runs allowed. Since 2023, he does give up more of a higher batting average to left-handed hitters, but this season he's given up worse batting average against right-handed hitters. Um, Boston. Run you guys kind of catch the drift of what I'm looking at here with like runs per game on the road, runs per game allowed at home, vice versa. I would give Philadelphia a very slight advantage there. Base stealing, I'd give Philadelphia a big advantage. Bullpen, I would give Boston a big advantage here. Team strikeouts per game, Boston strikes out the third most out of any team in the league per game. And Philadelphia is a little above average. They rank 11th in that department. Now, I do like some hitters for Boston today. They do have a few guys here that have a nice batting average against right-handed pitching. But here's where I do want to start looking at home run hitters because I know you guys kind of like that. All right, so first thing, let's look at Philadelphia. What I will say is just I like Philadelphia in this game. 9-1 at home with Wheeler. Just a lot of good things that I saw. I would say the biggest concerns are their bullpen and the amount of players that have a decent batting average against right-handed pitching this year for Boston. Those are my two main concerns about taking for the Phillies here today, but everything else looks good. Now, let's go see if there's anybody that has any history off of him. Schwarber has a home run off of Bueller. He's batting 250 off him, 8 at-bats. And then Bryce Harper has a home run off him, 3 at-bats. Now Schwarber doesn't necessarily have the greatest batting average against right-handed pitching, but Harper's batting 259 when I checked this morning. So sometimes the Fangraphs batting splits website that I like to look at for how a batter uh, hits against a specific handed pitcher, sometimes excuse me, it doesn't update as quickly as I would like it to, but I think it's right around that 259 Harper. If it doesn't say that, if he's really not, it can't be off by much. But yeah, 259 off of right-handed pitching. Now Bueller likes to throw 25% four seam, 19% cutter, 16% sinker. So his pitch arsenal is a little bit more diverse. But let's go look at the Phillies and how they bat against um, that four seamer. You got Schwarber slugging at a 667 off that four seamer. Bryce Harper at a 606 slugging percentage. Um, I would be probably leaning. Let me see how many home runs Bryce Harper has off the four seam this season. One, two, three, four, five, six out of 90 plate appearances, 362 pitches he's seen. And that were the four seam fastball this season. But six is pretty good with 90 plate appearances. And like this ballpark, it ranks fourth best for left-handed hitters to hit home runs, but Bueller has allowed more home runs to righties. The other day when we were looking at Jose Ramirez, just like everything lined up for him to hit one, and he did. So maybe we can find something like that here on the show today. We'll see. Everything doesn't align right now, but I think I'd probably have to lean towards Harper, and then we can go check that cutter. Harper slugging a 786 off of the cutter. Looks like he has one home run off of that cutter, which is Bueller's second most used pitch. And then Schwarber's up there as well. And then sinker. Schwarber slugging a 815 off of that sinker. I do think that Harper could be batting a little bit, slugging a little bit better off that sinker. If I'm Bueller today, I'm going to be trying to probably work at that sinker in a little bit against Harper. He's only slugging a 300 off that pitch, but the other two most used pitch for uh, Harper's doing pretty good off of. Now Wheeler, I mean, I'm not gonna look into the Red Sox players as much. If you like a Red Sox player, you know what I will say is that Wheeler hasn't been allowing a whole lot of home runs this season. That's not to say that the Red Sox can't hit one. Maybe you watch this show and just fade everything that I talk about. Um, so, if you do like a Red Sox hitter today, uh, it's anything's possible. It's baseball. But, Wheeler's pitch arsenal, he has a four seam fastball that he likes to throw 42% of the time. And Rafaela is not only batting a 279 off of right handed pitching this season, but he's slugging at a team high 598 So I'd probably be looking for Rafaela uh, over anybody in that department. What else was going to look at? Oh, if anybody had any history off of Wheeler for this Red Sox team, Story has a home run off him. Is Story starting today? Yeah, he's batting in that 4 hole. So uh, if you just kind of want to know what Story's doing, he's slugging at a 256 this season off of that four seam. The next most used pitch, I'm not going to look into it though, but I'll just let you know 18% sinker from Wheeler and then that 14% sweeper. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to lean towards the Phillies in this one. All right, so Yankees and Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 5-2 against the Yankees this season, guys. Toronto's won 4 of those games by 2+ runs. The Yankees won both of the games that they won by 4+ runs. This ranks fifth best ballpark, Toronto Stadium, according to that website that I like to use, which is Baseball Savant. Um, ranks fifth best for right-handed hitting and left-handed hitting home runs. The biggest run line trend I see here is that Toronto, after a win, ranks first in baseball on that run line record. The Yankees, after a win on the run line, ranked 24th. Let's also look to see who's favored and whatnot in this game. The Yankees. So the book I'm looking at has Yankees as a road favorite. So as a road favorite, as a way favorite on the run line, the Yankees look just slightly below average when it comes to that run line record, and then Toronto as a home underdog uh, is a little above average here. They rank seventh best on that run line. So, run line trends, I like Toronto in that department here. And then we got Rodon versus Gosman, from my understanding. Rodon versus Gosman. Okay. So, we talked about this being a home run hitting park, right? What I will say is both of these teams have starting pitchers who, their home runs per 9 inning isn't terrible, right? It's at 1.1. I see some other pitchers on the board today that have a higher home run rate or average per 9 innings, I should say. But I will say that the Yankees bullpen ranks 21st. So I'm just kind of thinking maybe a Blue Jay here. But I kind of want to also see dive into these guys' just looking to see how many home runs a player has. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is kind of on my list for this game, right? So he's batting. He's got a three. He's batting a 329 off right-handed. Excuse me, a 329 off left-handed pitchers this season. He has 5 home runs, 15 at plate appearances against Rodon. 5 home runs. He's batting 600 off of Rodon. So good history here. Um, Worth mentioning, George Springer has 6 home runs and 24 at bats, but he's only batting a 208 off of Rodon. Rodon's most used pitched. It's his pitch arsenal is a little bit less diverse, and that's important because we know what to expect from him a little bit more than some of these other guys who throw this pitch 20% of the time, this pitch 15% of the time. No, Rodon's throwing that four seam 40% of the time this season, and then 31% with the slider. So when I was doing research last night, I saw that Vladimir Guerrero has hit 4 home runs against the four seam in 107 plate appearances this season, which is pretty cool. And then Schneider starting here today for this Toronto Blue Jay team. I see him in the starting lineup. He's batting a 250 off of. I think that's a little bit more of a sleepy play, but he's batting a 250 off of left-handed pitching this season, and he has 2 home runs in 11 plate appearances versus the second most used pitch that Rodon uses, which is that slider at 31%. But let's look at some of this other stuff real quick. So Rodon pitched. I usually like to cover the game before I cover home run props, but those would be 2 guys I'd be looking for Toronto. And then we'll get into some Yankee hitters here in just a second. So Rodon pitched at Toronto on 6/30, so June 30th, a little less than a month ago, and Toronto won that game 5-4. He had 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, allowed 2 earned runs, didn't give up a home run. I will say both of these pitchers have played against the opposing teams this season, and none of them have given up a home run. Okay. Now, average pitch count that Rodon's had this season is 93, but his last 5 has been 82. So maybe we do see that 21st ranked Yankee bullpen come in a little bit more of a factor today. Rodon doesn't have a high walks per nine, or not really even a necessarily a nine. We already talked about it, but home run per 9 inning average. He allows a worse batting average to right-handed hitters. Home runs for either side of the plate are about equal. The Yankees are 4-6 on the road with Rodon pitching this season. Gosman pitched at New York on 4/27, and the Yankees won 11-2. But Gosman, man, he had some problems in this game. He must have just allowed a lot of hits, or just walked a lot of guys, or some errors or something, because he pitched 2.2 innings, 3 hits, allowed 6 earned runs, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. So that was at New York, right? This one's at Toronto tonight. Now he has pitched versus the Yankees the first of the month this season, and the Blue Jays won that game 12-5. So on July 1st of this month, yeah, he pitched. Toronto won that game 12-5. He did much better. 5 innings pitched, still allowed 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 home runs, 4 walks. So he's walking some of these Yankees, and 3 strikeouts. Now, Toronto is 6-3 with Gosman at home this season. His average pitch count is much higher than um, Rodon, at least in his last 5. 95 throughout the season, 97 in his last 5. He does have a worse batting average against right-handed hitters. So if you like, a Yankee to get a right-handed or to get a hit today, then you got that working for you. But he has allowed slightly more home runs to left-handed hitters. Um, and Gosman's, we talked about how Rodon has a less diverse pitch arsenal than some of these guys. Well, uh, Gosman throws 50, and that was at 40%. His four seam. Gosman throws a 54% four seam. So 54% of the time this season, he's thrown that four seam fastball. He's also bad at preventing steals. Gosman is. And the Yankees rank first in team walks per game. So we talked about some of these previous game logs that Gosman has had against the Yankees. It really comes to no surprise that um, that he's allowed four. He's given up 4 walks, 5 walks, but his walks per 9 inning average isn't terrible. Maybe those are a couple outlier games, and maybe that's because the Yankees are just so good at drawing walks. Now, Judge has 15 home runs off four seamers this season in 106 plate appearances. And this is a good home run ballpark for, uh, Judge to get one in, uh, just according to that one source. You may want to look at another source when it comes to home runs, and look to see which ones are better or worse, or maybe you like the source that I've mentioned. I was looking at a different source last night, and I think it was actually pretty cool, man. So, and we can look at that real quick. Uh, best park, I think it was RotoWire. Best home run parks. It gave you like it was real, just easy on the eyes. Gave you a good look here. SwishAnalytics.com. So if we go to Toronto's ballpark here, um, just a second. Scrolling. Okay. So I'm seeing that for right-handed batters on this source, for right-handed batters, this ballpark is below average for home runs. But for right field, for left-handed batters, it's average. So different sources say different things. But the source, whenever I'm talking about home runs, once again, is that baseball7.com. And they have their own explanation on things that they look at whenever you visit that source. Okay. So what are we looking at here? 54% four seam. Judge has done good off that. Judge is hitting a 359 off right-handed pitching this season. Grisham has 7 home runs and 116 plate appearances against four seamers. Now, 38% of the time, um, Gosman's throwing the split. And did we look to see if anybody had any history off him? Yeah, I mean, Judge has 12 home runs and 43 plate appearances against him. Stanton has 4. Dominguez has 2 and 4 plate appearances. Or excuse me, no, that's 12 RBIs. I'm misspeaking here. My apologies. Judge has 6 home runs and 43 plate appearances against. I thought that number was a little wild. 6 home runs and 43 plate appearances, or 43 at bats. Sometimes, whenever I get on these shows, I've done so much research throughout the night and throughout the day. Sometimes I do misspeak just from, fatigue. But my apologies. I'll do my best to, correct myself when I do. 6 home runs. Aaron Judge off this guy, 43 at bats. Stanton, 2 home runs, 24 at bats. Goldschmidt, 1 home run, 16 at bats, and Volpe, uh, 1 home run, 21 at bats. So those are all the guys that I'm seeing that have home runs off him. Now, Grisham was a guy that kind of I was looking at. He doesn't have a home run off him in 18 at bats, right? But Judge, I think he's if you like Judge to hit a home run today, I could see that. The only thing that worries me is the home run per 9 inning average from Gosman and the 6th ranked Toronto bullpen ERA, and that one source that we were looking at on SwishAnalytics.com said, the right-handed batters were below average at hitting home runs in this ballpark. But we did mention some good things for Judge here, right? So no, I just don't see enough like we saw with our Cleveland hitter the other day. Um, I don't see enough statistical. I don't see enough data for me to just absolutely, like that play. But I could see it happening. There are some things that look good, right? Now, Yankees runs per game on the road. They rank 4th. Toronto ranks 18th. Toronto ranks 3rd in runs per game at home. Yankees rank 20th in runs per game allowed on the road. Just in regard to that, I would just give Toronto a very slight advantage in that department. Stolen bases per game. I really wouldn't give anybody an advantage, a huge advantage here, but I would give the nod to the Yankees. Um, Toronto's bullpen, I would give that a nice advantage. They rank sixth best in ERA. The Yankees rank 21st. Toronto is also a much tougher team to strike out. They rank first. The Yankees rank 25th. Um, so this game's in Toronto, right? Now I do want to just look real quick. Now we said Toronto's 5-2 against the Yankees this season, right? Um, and I also just want to double check these starting lineups. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the Blue Jays swept the Yankees in a series earlier this season. I believe that was in Toronto. Um, yes, 4-game series in Toronto. This one's in Toronto. So Toronto's 4-0 against the Yankees this season in Toronto. Let me double check these starting lineups real quick. It's all about matchups, right? So just look at okay, and then Judge, Grisham, Chisholm, and Dominguez. Okay. Um. Yeah, I would have to lean towards Toronto getting this win today. But Gosman, dude, you gotta. He's gonna be in a little bit of a trouble if he's walking a bunch of guys. But yeah, I'd have to lean towards Toronto on this one. I like the run line trend that they got going for them. I like the fact that Toronto has a better record this season with Gosman at home than the Yankees do with Rodon on the road. I like that Toronto has a bullpen advantage. They strike out less. I like how their bats match up against the left-handed Rodon a little bit more than the Yankees match up against the right-handed Gosman. So I'd have to lean towards Toronto on that run line here. Moving on, Yankees and Mets. Yankees and Mets. All right. So these teams haven't played each other this season. This ballpark does rank sixth best for left-handed hitting home runs, according to one source. Let's go look at this other source. Like I said, I usually don't like focus on home run props a whole lot, but I know that you guys like it, and that once again, that's not knocking you guys on playing home run props by any means, but it's a little bit more tedious, looking at this home run stuff because I'm looking at the ballpark, the home runs per 9 inning average for a guy, just so many different things. So we're looking at the Mets Stadium, City Field. So this looks like a below average, according to this source, a below average field or an average. I would say it says average for left-handed and right-handed batters to hit home runs on. So the biggest run line trend that I see here would be the Mets. They rank ninth on the run line as a home favorite. The Angels, they do rank 10th after a win on that run line, though. The Angels technically have a better record on the run line this season, which is 24-24, than the Mets do on that run line as a home favorite. They're 18-24. But I like to do it by ranks because you get more of a league average that goes into play. Anderson, let's close some of these tabs. Hope everybody's having a great day. All right, Angels and Mets. So we got Anderson and Senga. Anderson, left-handed Anderson. He used to play for the Rockies. He's The Angels are 6-4 on the road with Anderson this season. He hasn't pitched against the Mets. He has a 92 average pitch count, 88 in his last 5 games. 3.5 walks per 9 inning, which is the threshold that rings an alarm, rings a bell, right? It's right at that 3.5 walks per 9 inning average where I looked at a source that told me that that's when you start, when you start getting a little concerned for him walking batters here. Now Anderson also has a 1.5 home runs per 9 inning average, which is getting up there. Much worse batting average to left-handed hitters. So I see Soto's batting a 250 off of left-handed pitchers, and Anderson does have a much worse batting average allowed to left-handed hitters. He has allowed more home runs to righties, though. So Acuna, Nimmo, um, and Soto are three guys that are decent on the Mets, batting average wise, batting against that left-handed pitching. Um, Pitch arsenal, 38% of the time he's throwing that four seam. 34% of the time he's throwing the change. So we can filter this real quick by Mets. Four seam fastball. Who's slugging off that? McNeil, Soto. Excuse me. What about Nimmo? 438. And then his second most used pitch is the changeup. 34% used changeup. Once again, Soto's up there. And is Nimmo? Oh, Nimmo has the best slugging percentage against the changeup. So if you were thinking Nimmo today for a home run, I think he might need to see that change up. He does have 3 home runs this season, and he's seen 28 plate appearances and 3 home runs off of that change up. And then we can also go see real quick is there any history here that these batters have. Nimmo does have a home run off of him and 15 at bats. Soto does not have a home run off of him and 18 at bats. So, uh, yeah. Okay, so uh, Tyler Anderson, from my understanding as well, is bad at base stealing prevention. If guys do get on base here, and we did mention that, he walks some guys. He's got that 3.5 walks per 9 inning rate. The Mets rank sixth in team walks per game. So how are the Mets at stealing bases? They rank 12th in stolen bases per game. The Angels, they do rank 12th as a team, right? At base stealing prevention, but at stolen bases allowed per game. But Tyler Anderson, from my understanding, is bad at base stealing prevention. So sometimes those numbers could be a little bit skewed because it takes all of the Angels pitchers into the consideration. Uh, and there could just be, one pitcher, maybe everybody for the Angels, all the pitchers are great at base stealing prevention. The catcher is great. And then you get a guy that's not great that can really, make that number look better than what it is in a situation like this. So yeah, I do think it's possible the Mets get on base here by walks and swipe a bag or two, maybe even three. Okay, so Senga. I like this a little bit more than Tyler Anderson, right? We said the Angels are 6-4 on the road with Anderson. The Mets are 6-1 at home with Senga pitching this season. Now, what I will say is that it's not fair. It's not necessarily fair to ding Anderson or to give Senga a boost up if Senga hasn't pitched if Singh has pitched 3 less games at home this season than Anderson has pitched on the road. So, but 6-1's better than 6-4. Um, but he could. What if Senga goes to 6-4 now? But anyways, the Mets won 4 out of 6 of those games by 2+ runs. So if you're thinking about the Mets run line here today, more times than not, when Senga's pitched at home, the Mets have won by 2+ runs. And he hasn't pitched against the Angels this season. Average pitch count this season and in his last 5 games is 89. Walks per 9 inning average 3.8 walks per 9 inning. Hasn't been allowing, doesn't look like he's been allowing a whole lot of home runs. 0.5 home runs per 9 inning, which is low. Looks like there's no specific side of the plate that bats, better or worse against Senga, but he does allow more walks to left-handed hitters. Um, and his pitch arsenal, 31% four seam. So, the Angels I think they won 2 games against the Phillies, which kind of surprised some people, kind of surprised me. I think the first game I liked the Phillies. They didn't get it done. The second game I liked the Phillies, and they had to make a comeback victory. So this Angels team has been a little sneaky lately. Going up against the Mets here. Runs per game on the road versus runs per game at home. Both teams are about even. What I will say is that the Angels allow a lot more runs per game on the road. They rank 25th than the Mets do at runs per game allowed at home. They rank 4th. Stolen bases. I don't think the Angels have any advantage here. They rank 29th in stolen bases per game, and the Mets rank second in stolen bases allowed per game. So the Mets are good at base stealing prevention. Mets bullpen ERA is much better. They rank 15th. The Angels have the third worst bullpen ERA, and then team strikeouts per game. The Angels strike out the second most out of any team this season, and the Mets rank 12th, so they're a little bit above average in that department. With all that being said, I like the Mets here today. I think I was leaning towards the Mets. I didn't like it, or I didn't even get to do a whole lot of research on that game. I think it was Saturday. We started at, what was it, 4 p.m. Eastern time. The game started at 4:10 p.m. Eastern time. I was leaning towards the Mets in that game, and the Mets ended up losing, I believe, to the Reds 5-2. I'm feeling more comfortable about the Mets in this game today than I was that day. But and I think one of the big reasons is the amount of batters that the Angels have that have a good batting average against right-handed pitchers isn't as good as what Cincinnati's was that day. So the two batters that I am looking at, uh, how do I pronounce that name again? Baseball, MLB pronunciation names, MLB. I have it in one of my previous notes, but was it the Sean O'Well guy for the Angels? I think he's, if you're thinking about taking him for a home run today, I could see that potentially happening. I'm not going to look into it too much, but I will say Singa throws 37 or 31% of the time four seam, 29% of the time fork ball. All right. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the Mets there. Let's move on here. Giants at Atlanta. Giants are 3-0 against Atlanta this season. Atlanta won each game by exactly. Hold up, Atlanta won. So San Francisco is 3-0, or Atlanta's 3-0. Let me look this up real quick. One of these teams is 3-0 against each other this season. Okay, San Francisco's 3-0 against the Braves. If you were thinking about taking the Braves today, plus 1.5, that's hitting at 100% rate out of those three games. San Francisco has won each of those games by exactly 1 run. San Francisco, I would say the biggest. I don't see like anything that really stands out with those run line trends. San Francisco's 4-6 on the road with Birdsong this season. Atlanta's 4-4 with Elder at home this season. Both of these pitchers have pitched against these opposing teams this season. When Birdsong pitched versus Atlanta, so that was in San Francisco on June 6th. San Francisco did win that game 5-4 in extra innings. 4.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no home runs, 5 walks, 5 Ks. He does have a high walks per 9 inning average, 4.5. Now, average pitch count is 58 for him, but it's been 87 the last 5 games, so it seems like that's increasing. He has a worse batting average to left-handed hitters, more home runs to left-handed hitters this season. His home runs per 9 inning rate is at 1.4, so that's getting up there. And this ballpark ranks 10th best for left-handed hitters to hit home runs, according to the source that I like to use. Now we can go look at the other source, right? And I'm probably going into home runs a little bit more than what I would like to today, just for time purposes. But I'm seeing that this home run, according to one source, is ranks 10th best for left-handed hitting home runs, and then this other one tells me that it's a little bit below average. So you may want to do your own research on that. But Birdsong once again gives more home. He allows more home runs to left-handed hitters this season. Pitch arsenal 44% four seam. Acuna has a good batting average off right-handed pitching this season. Right-handed pitching, that Ronald Acuna, about a 3.46. And kind of filter this by Atlanta Braves four-seam fastball updates. Acuna's up there. Olson and slugging percentage. Baldwin. So those are some guys that I would look for to possibly get a home run here. And then 25% of the slider, 25% Birdsong uses. So Profar looks like he's slugging good off that. Small sample size for Profar, but then Drake Baldwin, if you like him today, or Olson, I could see them getting one. Now, did the Braves have any history off of this guy? Sean Murphy has a home run off him, and that's all that I see. Okay. On the flip side, we got Elder. He's the Braves are 4-4 with Elder at home this season. They won 3 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost 3 of those games by 2+ runs. So they won 3 out of 4 that they did win by 2+. They lost 3 out of 4 that they lost by 2+ runs. Okay, so Elders pitched at San Francisco on 6/7, and San Francisco won that game 3-2. 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, no walks, 12 strikeouts for Elder against the San Francisco team on 6/7. Average pitch count's been about 88 this season. It has been 88, 86 in his last 5. The walks per 9 inning rate isn't terrible. I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned that Atlanta ranks 10th in team walks per game, and Birdsong does walk people, which makes me instantly look to see if Atlanta's good at base stealing, and they're not. But if Atlanta does get a hold of one, that can bring some runs in, whether it's just RBI, single, double, triple, home run. Okay, so Elder's home run per 9 inning rate is average is a little bit higher here, 1.8 than Birdsong's. He doesn't specifically have like uh, he doesn't he doesn't really throw more home runs to righties or lefties, but he does allow higher batting average to right-handed hitters, more walks allowed to lefties. Now, I'm not going to go through any home run props anymore unless I really like them. Uh, but he does throw a 41% sinker, okay? 41% sinker. Elder does. So for the Giants, who's slugging the best off of that? Patrick Bailey, Fitzgerald, Schmidt, Chapman. 39% slider. Who's slugging good off that? Devers at 578 and Chapman and stuff. But Devers, how was Devers batting against right-handed pitching this season? I forgot about the Devers factor here. Oh, he's batting 247 according to Fangraphs.com off of right-handed pitching this season. Um, okay, so San Francisco ranks 7th in team walks per game, but he's right under that threshold. He's at 3.2 walks per 9 inning average. So let's look at some other stuff here. San Francisco has like a runs per game advantage when we're talking about all that runs per game on the road and home and stuff. They got a slight advantage there. Stolen bases per game. I don't really see either of these teams stealing a whole lot. If I did see one, it'd be San Francisco. San Francisco ranks 27th in stolen bases per game. Atlanta ranks 28th. Neither of these teams really capitalize too much on that base stealing. San Francisco has a significant bullpen ERA advantage. They rank first best in baseball. Atlanta ranks 11th. Both of these teams are a little below average in team strikeouts per game. San Francisco ranks 20th. Atlanta ranks 21st. With all that being said, I like how the bats match up more today against Birdsong for Atlanta than I do for San Francisco. But this could be a close game, right? Is Atlanta okay? They're the favorite. I mean, you do got some things working against you. The fact that San Francisco's 3-0 against them this season. Um, if you're taking Atlanta, if you really do like Atlanta today, but you feel better about taking them plus 1.5 for some reason, they're 3-0 to that this season. So yeah, I lean towards Atlanta on that run line. They are a home favorite, but let's move on. White Sox and Tampa Bay Rays. This ballpark ranks second best for right-handed hitting home runs. Then we can go check that other source. It says that it's below average, so you can make your own mind up in regards to that. Now, uh, Burke, pitcher for the White Sox. Burke. Chicago is 1-7 on the road when he pitches this season. They only lost 2 games by 4+ runs. He hasn't pitched against Tampa Bay this season. His pitch count's been about 86, 91 in his last 5. His walks per 9 inning average is high. His home runs per 9 inning average is getting up there. Allows more walks to left-handed hitters. Worst batting average allowed to right-handed hitters. 41% of the time, four-seamer is what he likes to throw. And I do just kind of want to look at Tampa Bay Rays uh, and how they match up against that four-seam and who's slugging off of that. Yandy Diaz, Caminero. Nice to see those guys getting a home run today. Or more so Yandy Diaz, I think here. He's slugging a 703 compared to Caminero slugging a 672. Now slugging doesn't tell the full story here. Caminero could easily have more home runs than Yandy Diaz does off this four seam. But Yandy Diaz has a higher batting average. He's batting 312 off right-handed pitching compared to Caminero batting a 267. Now, if we look, maybe they have a little history against Burke here. Let's go take a look. Nope. Um, and Chicago's bullpen ranks 16th. So, if Diaz didn't get a home run in the early stages of this game, maybe he could in the later stages against that 16th ranked, which is about average, right? I typically like to target a little bit worse of a bullpen, but that's doable. Ranked 16th in bullpen ERA. Anyways, um, Boz is 6-4. Tampa Bay 6-4 at home with him pitching, compared to Burke's 1-7 record, or Chicago's 1-7 record with Burke on the road. The Tampa Bay Rays won 5 of those 6 games by 2+ runs. Hasn't pitched against the White Sox this season. Average pitch count 92, 97 his last 5. Nothing seems too alarming in regard to his walks per 9 inning or his home runs per 9 inning. It's creeping up there, but maybe he gives up a home run to somebody here today. Um, I'm not seeing if he's particularly. I don't see that he's particularly worse against a righty or a lefty batter when it comes to home runs, but he does have a worse batting average allowed to right-handed hitters and more walks allowed to right-handed hitters. Um, 45% of the time he throws that four seam. The White Sox runs per game on the road ranks 28th. Tampa Bay runs per game at home ranks 10th. Tampa Bay's defense has been a little bit better than Chicago's in their respective environments as well. Chicago stolen bases per game ranks 18th. Tampa Bay, that can be a problem for them. And then I do want to go look at Boz real quick. We did say that his walks per 9 innings wasn't uh, too high, and it doesn't look like he's been allowing a whole lot of base runners to advance on him either while he pitches. So even though Tampa Bay is not good at base stealing prevention, Boz hasn't allowed a whole lot of guys to take advantage of that against him. And the White Sox only rank 18th in stolen bases per game. Now, on the flip side, Tampa Bay ranks first in stolen bases per game. The White Sox rank 23rd in stolen bases allowed per game. We did mention that Burke has a high walks per 9 average. Um, doesn't look like, yo, what's up? Um, Burke. I'm not seeing anything for Burke in regard to Sean Burke. Let me see. Sean Burke. He's not in this uh, in this tool that I'm looking at here. So I don't know how he is with holding base runners on base. Maybe you have a better idea than I do. But What I will say is that Tampa Bay ranks first in stolen bases per game, and Chicago ranks 23rd in stolen bases allowed per game. So I think that is a big advantage for Tampa Bay here. I also want to know what Tampa Bay ranks in that team walks per game. They rank 22nd, so they're not the best team at drawing walks per game. But if they do get some base runners on first or perhaps second base, I think they could do good here in this game. I like how Boz Tampa Bay has a 6-4 record at home with him this season compared to the White Sox 1-7 record with Burke on the road this season. I like that base stealing advantage for Tampa Bay. I like how their bats match up a little bit more here today. I'd lean towards the Rays here. All right, moving on. How many games do we have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna try to be quick in this one. My research wasn't as great in this one because, from my understanding, it's gonna be a bullpen game today for the Chicago Cubs against the Kansas City Royals. It's in Chicago. Let's refresh RotoWire and let's see what they have to say about. I've seen a mixed bag of pitchers that they're announcing to start. I'm seeing Ben Brown is a candidate to eat up some innings in a bulk relief role Monday versus the Royals. So looks like Ryan Brazier is going to be getting the start here, and he's a bullpen guy. And then I think Ben Brown is going to be coming in. It looks like, well, once again, he is a candidate, right? Now I'm not going to look into all of this. It doesn't look like really anybody has any history off of Ben Brown either, except Jonathan India has 2 walks and an RBI against him. So, what I will say about Ben Brown is his walks per 9 innings is 3.1, so it's kind of creeping up to that threshold that raises an eyebrow, and home runs per 9 inning ranks, not ranks, but he has a 1.5 home run per 9 inning average. So uh, if you really were really looking forward to this game and me like talking about this game, I think there's just a lot of unknowns, right? So I don't have as good of an idea of really statistically speaking what will happen in this game. Seeing that this is a pretty decent ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. The Chicago Cubs on the run line after a loss ranked first in baseball. They also ranked third on the run line as a home favorite. Now, Cameron, the starting pitcher for the Royals, his average pitch count's been 90, 91 in his last 5 games. The Royals bullpen ERA ranks eighth best. The Chicago's ranks seventh. This Cameron guy for the Royals is pretty decent. He does have a worse batting average and home runs to left-handed hitters. So if you like a left-handed hitter today for Chicago, you got that for you. Um, Chicago ranks eighth in team walks per game, but Cameron hasn't been, walking a whole lot of guys here. And then we just don't know what to expect from the Cubs bullpen game. But if you know anything about this Ben Brown guy, you got probably a better idea of what the Cubs are bringing up to the table. And I don't even know if he's going to be playing in this game. It's just saying that he's a candidate to eat up some innings in a bulk relief role today. So. Um, The Royals have struggled to score runs on the road per game this season, and the Cubs have done a great job at scoring runs per game at home. But what I will say is that the Royals have done a good job at preventing teams from scoring runs when the Royals are on the road this season. They rank second best. Um, Base stealing Royals rank 13th, but the Cubs rank third best in stolen bases per game. I don't really see an advantage for either team here in regard to base stealing. It's real tough to call. I don't see an advantage with the bullpen. I don't see an advantage with team strikeouts per game. This is just neck and neck here, and so I don't even want to give you who I think might do good or anything. It'll take me a long, in-depth analysis, research that I don't have the time for. But hopefully, you may have heard some things that you didn't know. That helps you with your decision making if you were looking forward to me covering this game. Once again, just a lot of unknowns and a lot of work for me to make an educated decision here. So moving on. Um, Athletics in Texas. The Athletics are 5-2 against Texas this season. The Athletics have won three of those games by 3+ runs. Texas won both of those games by 3+ runs. From my understanding, this isn't a great home run park. The biggest run line trend advantage that I see is that the Texas Rangers are first best in baseball on the run line as a home favorite, and the Rangers on the run line after a loss ranked fifth best in baseball. With that being said, the Athletics record on the run line as a road underdog ranks 28th. Um, Now I didn't get a whole lot of time to research this game either because they were switching starting pitchers. Looks like Leiter is going to get the start here for Texas, and they had somebody else. Hey, Baltimore up 1-0. I was leaning towards them today. Cool. Um, 1-0. Athletics. What was I thinking here? Athletics. I just wanted to make sure something that they were still underdogs. There was something else. Oh, that Leader is still going to be pitching, and it looks like he is. Okay, so um, let's just look it up real quick. What these guys' record are on the road and home. So Jacob Lopez, projected starting pitcher for the Athletics. On the road, the Athletics are 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 1-4, 2-4, 3-4 with him this season on the road. And then with that Jack Leader at home, Texas is 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4 as well. All right, so it's about even in that regard. Um, just based off the previous stuff I used to look at with like how certain-handed batters bat against certain-handed pitchers. Both of these, or excuse me, Lopez is a lefty, so Texas against a lefty. I'm just trying to see, get a decent idea of how they match up against the lefties. Just one moment, please. Doesn't really. It's not too impressive here. I think I'm going to find more batters that I like here for the Athletics against that right-handed pitcher. Yeah. So all in all, I'm liking the Athletics bats better today and how they match up uh, against against Texas. Now this lighter guy for Texas starting pitcher. I should just say that since I don't know how to pronounce it. Um, he's his walks per 9 inning average is high. It's at 4.3. So the Athletics are not a great base stealing team, though. Texas is good at stealing bases. And Lopez, his walks per 9 inning is right about that at that threshold that raises an alarm. Now, how do these teams do at drawing walks? Texas ranks 23rd. The Athletics ranks 17th. I mean, I could see some guys getting walked here, but Texas does have a significant base stealing advantage. Texas is also very good at limiting runs per game at home this season. The Athletics, the Texas's offense has been struggling at home. They rank 28th in runs per game at home. Texas has a monumental bullpen ERA advantage here. Um, with all that being said, I once again do not have enough information here to make a great decision. But if I were to have to lean one way, I just like how the Athletics bats match up a little bit more here today. But I do see a lot of things. If you like Texas, please don't let me steer you away from them. So they have a lot of advantages here in this game, with the stolen bases, the bullpen. Their defense allows the least amount of runs per game at home this season. I mean, their run line trend, right? They rank first in baseball on the run line as a home favorite and fifth on the run line after a loss. So a lot of things going for Texas here. I'm so it seems like there's a lot of reasons to go Texas here. Uh, I think just what it comes down to is just how I like the Athletics bats, and I haven't even checked the confirmed starting lineups in this game quite yet, and I don't have the names wrote down, but I'm just looking at the guys for the Athletics, and I see some familiar names. So yeah. I'm going to lean towards Athletics. Just once again, how the bats match up against that right-handed pitcher for Texas, and the fact that the Athletics are 5-2 against the Texans against the Rangers this season. I don't feel great about that pick. Moving on, Rockies and Cardinals. I'm gonna try to kind of wrap this up a little bit quick here, but these teams haven't played each other this season. The Cardinals are 1-0 on the road with McGreevy pitching this season, right-handed pitching McGreevy, and won that game by exactly two runs. Average pitch count's been about 84. 84 this season, and in his last five. He's got like a small sample size when it comes to batters that he's faced this year. Some guys I'm looking at for the Rockies hitting wise is going to be Goodman, Moniak, and Beck. Gomber hasn't pitched versus St. Louis this season. The Rockies are 0-3 with Gomber at home this season. The Rockies lost each of those games by 2+ runs. We're probably going to see a lot of things, and I'm just kind of looking at it. There's a lot of things that go against the Rockies here. Um, I do like the Rockies to compete in this game a little bit more than previous days that I've seen the Rockies. But if you like the Cardinals today, I cannot even on the run line. I can't. I find more reasons to go with the Cardinals here than the Rockies. Arenado back in Colorado here for this game. But it'd be kind of cool to see him hit a home run. Let's go see if he does have any history here off Gomber. Contreras has 2 home runs and 5 at bats against him, and Arenado has 1 home run and 17 at bats against Gomber. Gomber's home runs per 9 inning rates is high, and Rockies have a bad bullpen ERA. If there was a home run hitter that I was looking for here, maybe here's the spot. 35% four seamer. So let's go see who's slugging the best here for the Cardinals off that four seam fastball. Slugging percentage. Arenado's only slugging a 423. You got Donovan, who's got a good slugging percentage here. Walker, Burleson. I'm trying to see Contreras, and I think we said Contreras had the best history off of Gomber as well. 2 home runs. And then 24% of the time he's throwing that curveball, Gomber is. So, um, Pozo, 9 plate appearances, slugging 1,000. Arenado, Arenado's slugging good, 632 off that. Once again, slugging percentage doesn't give you the full story, but it gives you a good general idea. Uh, and Arenado's batting 277 off left-handed pitching this season. Herrera's batting a 348. Contreras 273. So I can see Arenado or Contreras. Maybe both. Okay, I'd probably have to lean more towards like Contreras. Just the history there, and but yeah, I like how Contreras also bats against that curveball a little bit more than Arenado. So when we're talking about slugging percentage. Now, from my understanding, this ballpark ranks seventh best for left-handed hitters to hit a home run. Those guys are right-handed batters, and I don't think Gomber's about even across all categories. So he's not specifically giving up more home runs to right-handed batters or left-handed batters. It's about even. So, anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna really overthink that. Just Cardinals and move on. But it's baseball, man. Anything can happen. And like I stated, I feel a little better about the Rockies today than I have in previous shows, but I still gotta lean with the Cardinals there. Now let me get a little organized here. And I'm not going to, like go through at the end of the show like what I like the most. I did that on the last show, and I just kind of thought about it, and I think that's maybe just like a little unfair to the people that have been listening and viewing the show. So I'm here to just give you some statistics. I'm not necessarily here to like tell you what to do. You can make up your own mind, tell you which way I lean, and we can move on. All right. Houston, Arizona. I am feeling the fatigue now. It's setting in, guys. So please just bear with me. Get through this as uh, efficiently as possible. All right, Houston at Arizona. Gordon and Gallen are the projected pitchers in this game. Let me look at Houston's lineup real quick, please. I wasn't able to look at, some of the information for these. Well, I got some information there that I usually use. What about this game? Okay, maybe. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna. Smith, Dupont. Okay, biggest run line advantage trend wise that I see is Houston ranked second on the run line when they are a road underdog. Uh, I see that this ballpark might be good for right-handed hitting home runs. Was kind of looking at some stuff earlier. There are some days that I like Eugenio Suarez. He's been hot lately, but today's probably not one of them. I mean, he could get one, obviously, but walks per 9 innings. And Gordon does have a somewhat high home runs per 9 inning rate. It's 1.7. He has a worse batting average and home runs for hand hitters. Maybe this is a spot for a right-handed hitter to do good. Get a home run. Maybe Gurriel. I mean, once again, this is a good ballpark, from my understanding, for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. Uh, Gordon has a somewhat higher home run per 9 inning rate, and he's worse to right-handed batters when I'm talking about batting average and home runs. 39% of the time, he's throwing that four-seam fastball. And when we look at Diamondbacks, who are good at that, slugging on that, it's going to be Marte. And Marte would be batting right today. So if you like Marte, I'm not going to look into it, but I would look into maybe if Marte has more home runs off, if he's better off of left-handed hitters or right-handed hitters. I would check the history, uh, but I'm not going to look into it right now. I don't have the time or the energy here. Um, Walks, the rate for Gordon's not alarming. Now Gallon, and I don't have these guys' records either, or what they are whenever they're pitching at home or on the road. If you find that information useful, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like to. There was a trend earlier that we saw that I really liked. So some pitcher was 9-1, or some team was 9-1 at home with that pitcher. So Gallon, let's just get an idea here when he's pitching at home, because I'm kind of leaning towards the Diamondbacks here, but we'll see as we look through. Is 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, 2-6. 3-6, 4-6 with Gallon at home. AZ is 4-6 with Gallon, and then with Gordon, I'll do it real quick. Colton Gordon game log. Um, right. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. So Houston's 3-1. With Gordon starting on the road. It doesn't look like he's getting a whole. He's not really pitching past the fifth inning. But Houston's bullpen does rank third best in ERA. Arizona's ranks 26. So Houston has a big bullpen ERA advantage there. Runs per game in their respective environments here. The biggest outlier I really see is Arizona's allowing a lot of runs per game at home. Stolen bases per game. Houston allows the second most stolen bases per game out of any team. Arizona's an average base stealing team. I'm working with just a little bit of limited information here. Um, Gordon's walks per 9 inning isn't extremely high, but Gallons is getting up there. I don't see it like a big base stealing advantage for Houston today. If you like a pit or a hitter for if you'd like a home run here today for a Houston player, I could see that. Gallon, 48% of the time throws that four seam. I got a Altuve batting a 289 here against the right-handed pitchers. I mean, with all that being said, just with the information I have, once again, just a little bit information, a little bit more limited here with these later games, but I don't know. I guess I'd have to lean towards Houston getting this one, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Arizona. But yeah, I'll lean towards Houston in this one. Okay. Milwaukee at Seattle. We got two games left here. Milwaukee at Seattle. These teams haven't played each other this season. Milwaukee ranks third when they're on the run line as a road underdog. They're 26-9 on that run line when they're a road underdog. And Seattle ranks 28th on the run line after a loss. So those are big trends there. Milwaukee's 1-0 on the road with Woodruff. Seattle's 3-2 with Kirby at home. I could see Milwaukee's bullpen coming into play here. They rank 17th in bullpen ERA. Seattle does rank fifth in team walks, but I don't think that we have like a huge sample size to work with Woodruff here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see how many games Woodruff has pitched in this season. Two. So not a whole lot of information to work with. It's a little bit tougher to pinpoint a good spot uh, with you know restrictive information. And then Kirby, Seattle's 3-2 at home with him. They lost both games by 4+ runs. So if you like Milwaukee to run with this game today, you got that going for you. Um, So Seattle, I mentioned that they're 3-2 with Kirby at home. They only won one of those games by exactly 4 runs. The other two wins that they had were exactly by 1 run. He hasn't pitched against Milwaukee this season. Um, he's worse with home runs, batting average, and walks against left-handed hitters. Runs per game, I got to give Milwaukee advantage here. Stolen bases per game, got to give Milwaukee a slight advantage there. Bullpen gives Seattle a slight advantage. Strikeouts per game, Seattle a slight advantage. Let me go check the starting lineups real quick. Uh, okay, so he's in. He's out. Okay. Um, I have to lean towards Milwaukee in this game. And then the last game, Minnesota at Dodgers. Looks like I got a little bit more information here. These teams haven't played each other this season. Is is Ohtani starting in this game? Looks like Ohtani's starting in this game. Biggest run line trends that I see is that Minnesota is ranks ninth best on the run line in baseball after a win, and the Dodgers rank 29th on the run line after a loss. I'm kind of liking how Minnesota's bats match up here. Let me double check this starting lineup since it came out after I started the show. Okay, I'm just I'm liking how Minnesota's bats match up a little bit today, but Smith and Freeman do have great batting averages against right-handed pitching. Anyways, David Festa is supposed to pitch for the Twins here today. Pitch count has been about 80, 82 in his last five. And that is kind of make that could be a significant factor in this game with Minnesota having the 22nd ranked bullpen ERA. On the flip side, the Dodgers are not uh, far away. They rank 24th, so they're a little bit worse with that bullpen ERA. Festa has a worse batting average allowed and home runs to right-handed hitters. This is a good part for home run for right-handed hitters. So I know I'm trying to speed things up a little bit here, but I just feel like I have to, look at this and how the Dodgers bat against that four seam fastball in regards to slugging percentage. Otani, Hernandez, Will Smith. I mean, these are guys that are pretty much capable of any given night. But I got to, tonight I think is a pretty decent chance. Fastest home runs per nine inning average isn't completely too high, but it's at 1.3. I've seen some lower ones today. Walks per nine inning isn't it's right at that 3.5. It's at 3.4, which is 3.5 is usually a cause for concern. I can see the Dodgers getting walks sometimes in this game. They rank second in team walks per game. Stolen bases, Dodgers rank 20th in that department per game, and the Twins rank 17th in stolen bases allowed per game. I'd give the Dodgers a slight base stealing advantage, even though May, the pitcher who could be come in, Dustin May, after Otani, does is not good at base stealing prevention. So I will say that. And then let's look at May a little bit. The Dodgers are 6-3 at home with May. They won 4 out of 6 of those games by 2+ runs. They lost 2 out of the 3 games that they did lose by exactly 4 runs. He does have a high walks per nine inning. I could see the Twins, and I'm not talking about Otani, right? From my understanding, Otani is going to be starting, and then Dustin May is going to be used out of the bullpen in this game. So he does walk some guys. Now, from my understanding, the Twins are not great at drawing walks. They rank 27th, so they're one of the worst teams at drawing walks, which is a relief for Dodger fans here. Um, Many more home runs allowed to left-handed hitters from May is what I'm seeing. So if you like a left-handed hitter for the Twins here to hit a home run, I could see that. 42% of the time he's throwing that sweeper. May is. So let's go look real quick at maybe who's slugging off that sweeper to give you a kind of an idea of who you may want to take for your home run hitter in this game. Like I said, there's other things to look at than just slugging percentage, but you know, I can see Castro, Jeffers, Larnick if those guys are starting. And then the sinker is he's throwing that at a 36% rate. Sweeper. Sorry if that sun is getting you guys there. All right. So 36% sinker. Buxton. Best slugging percentage against that specific pitch. And then it's Castro, Correa, Larney. Buxton's got the best batting average against right-handed pitching, 277, and then it's Larney, Correa. With all that being said, man, I'd like Minnesota to keep it close. I'd have to lean towards Minnesota on the run line here. I can see the Dodgers getting this victory. And I think like the biggest reason I like the run line trend there for Minnesota. I like how their bats match up today. Um, do they have enough? Do they have enough to get this win here today? Is the question. I mean, look, if you like the Dodgers today on that ML or RL, if you like the Dodgers today, I don't hate it, right? and I'm kind of working with limited information as well because we got Otani and May coming in, and probably another bullpen guy for the Dodgers here. Um, I think the Dodgers have just been struggling a little bit lately. I won't be surprised to see the Dodgers win this game by a run. But if I had to lean one way, just I'd go with Twins plus 1.5. But I don't feel great about that game, and really none of these games here at the end of the day. Like I said, the fatigue was just setting in. So there were some games that I liked earlier that would probably be my favorites that we looked into today that we mentioned earlier. One of those games would probably be my favorite. Nationals up 4-0 against the Reds. Padres up 2-0. Red Sox are up 1-0. I'm just kind of looking at what's going on in the league right now. Pirates up 1-0. Um, favorite favorite game that hasn't started. I think what's going on in that Toronto game? Oh, okay, they've already started. It's bottom half of the inning there. What about a game that hasn't started? Orioles, Cubs. Oh, White Sox and Rays. I think I like the Rays here. That's probably my favorite spot. Yeah, for a game that hasn't started. Then the Cardinals probably. Cool. All right. Well, I'll make an announcement for the next time. I do a show. I probably need a. I don't know. We'll see. Um, what about weather? I like to check weather before I leave real quick, just to make sure we got a bunch of. And that game could get maybe rained delayed a little bit. Low chance of a delay is still what they're saying here on rotogrinders.com for that White Sox and Tampa Bay Rays game. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the information, enjoyed the show. I appreciate you guys certainly for joining, and good luck today. And I'll see you next time. Once again, I'll make an announcement when we'll do another one of these baseball shows. All right, take care. Thank you again.